Jose Lantigua is laying low in his secret hideaway in Venezuela.
He went through quite a bit of trouble and paying quite a few people who corroborated their story to show that he actually passed away.
But now Jose's about to do something even more dramatic than rising from his own dead ashes.
Apparently, Mr. Lantigua is an extremely convincing storyteller.
By sneaking back into the United States.
Lantigua then pays $5,000 to get a boat ride because it's just about 60 miles off the coast for Nassau across to Fort Lauderdale. He takes a Greyhound up I-95, comes to Jacksonville, stays at an airport hotel. The next morning, Daphne picks him up.
Lantigua holes up in the couple's mountain retreat, nestled at the end of a long driveway hidden by tall pine trees. His children have no idea Daddy's home.
His wife, Daphne, did have family visit in that house in North Carolina at Christmas time and Thanksgiving, and he would stay at a hotel because he'd move out, so they didn't know he's alive.
But Lantigua apparently did see trouble coming. Remember that panic room we told you about?
It's a safe house, a safe room is what it was called. It was something he had insisted on having built into the house.
The bunker in his basement was designed to withstand a nuclear attack. It was equipped with 20-inch thick steel doors. And something like that can come in handy when you're hiding.
Which is interesting because this house was purchased on your honeymoon.
Yeah.
And he said he wanted to do renovations.
He renovated the whole house, yes.
So he was already planning.
Apparently.
Jose then gets busy creating a new identity. He applies for a North Carolina driver's license using a stolen ID. But his next move to create a new life will be his last.
He makes a dreadful mistake. He applies for the passport from the United States government.
On his passport application, Jose uses the name of Ernest Wills, an African-American postal worker. But that was just the beginning of Jose's missteps. Jose actually listed the address of that mountain house in North Carolina and Daphne as the emergency contact. What turns out to be another dumb move.
He had the Department of State on him, and they knew the passport was supposed to be delivered to a post office box in North Carolina.
Though he changed his look for his passport picture, going from gray hair to a brown toupee and a fake goatee, it seems 3 mistakes was a charm.
What had happened is Lantigua previously had a passport. He submits a passport again. Both of them were handwritten, same handwriting. Pictures come back, and they matched the faces because of the measurements between the nose and the eyes and the ears. And so the hunt was on.
The feds run secret surveillance on Lantigua. And after a year and a half, they finally get their man.
He had been having work done on his Jeep, and when we got to the place to pick up his Jeep, these agents were already there. And they got him, and they handcuffed him and arrested him.
Jose Lantigua immediately confesses and confirms that he is Jose Lantigua. He was wearing a toupee. He had dyed his facial hair.
The couple is immediately separated for questioning.
One of the agents came over to me, and this whole time that this has been going on, he's always been telling me, I have to be this person. Identity was supposedly the CIA had given him. So when the agent came and said, "Who is that?" I did what he had told me to do, and I said, "That's my friend," and I gave his name. And the agent looked at me and he said, "I'm gonna ask you again. I'm a federal agent, you can't lie." But I was so terrified and so thinking of protecting him and my family, I lied again. And that's when they arrested me.
The evidence is overwhelming. Remember, his life insurance policy supposedly worth $6 million? It turns out he forged it. Jose really only had about $38,000. Jose and Daphne eventually both pleaded guilty. He's convicted of conspiracy and bank fraud. The judge sentenced him to 14 years in the pen.
I think it was well-deserved. He will be in his 70s when he gets out of prison. He made a decision, he made a bed, and he's gonna have to sleep in it.
And Daphne faced up to 5 years in jail for conspiracy. She wound up serving 17 months. But even while sitting in the slammer, Jose still had her under his spell.
My family hired a lawyer to defend me. And I sat with him for 3 hours, and I told him everything. And he kept telling me, he said, Daphne, that's all a lie. You were duped. And I'm like, no, it's the truth, and you'll see, because the government's gonna expose it and tell the truth. It's all the truth.
She was in there for months and believed wholeheartedly that her husband was telling the truth, and she was waiting every day for the CIA to come and fix it all.
Do you blame her for having gotten herself in this position?
You know, looking from the outside in, how could you be so naive? Why would you let this happen? You should have seen the signs. But being there and in the moment with him and how great of a con artist he was, he would have fooled anybody.
Even though she served her time, Daphne remains under house arrest and must wear an ankle bracelet for 3 months.
So Daphne, how far can you go outside?
Just here, as far as I can go.
She can leave only to go to church and hopes to find a job so she can somehow pay back the $871,000 Jose collected in insurance money.
So now your mom is stuck with paying the restitution for both of them.
Right, which I think is very unfair, because even before she met Jose, my mom had a house, she had a home, she had vehicles, she had a career, she had her life together.
Daphne is filing for divorce and refuses to answer the dozens of letters he has written to her from jail.
It's just junk, it's just garbage in there. So that's when I started returning them and just saying, I don't want them. For what? To hear more lies?
To lie to his wife as he did, that's nothing but cruel and barbaric, because he turned her from being a person of good character to a person that's going to die as a felon.
The ghost of Jose Lantigua finally busted. And as for Daphne, the fairy tale is broken. The glass slipper from her Prince Charming never fit.
The fairy tale, it doesn't exist.
And remember how Daphne spoke to a doctor and he confirmed Jose's mad cow disease? Well, it turns out he was a real doctor. In fact, Daphne says Jose had hoped to use him in his plan to fake his death, but the doctor got spooked and pulled out at the last minute. All right, now that you've heard Daphne's side of things, we want to know, do you believe her story that she was a victim too? Join the discussion right now on our Facebook page.